We are sponsored by a Korean Tottenham Hotspur fan who wishes for all Koreans and the rest of the world to visit and discover Singapore.
Email Kelly for an introduction to Singapore at jrjinsingapore@gmail.com. That's jrjinsingapore@gmail.com.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another Tottenham update live from Tokyo. As you can see behind me, the city view, breathtaking, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely breathtaking.
What an incredible view. I mean, not one if you're scared of heights, I would say, but unbelievable. Literally, you can see the whole of Tokyo across the whole of the city skyline. It's an incredible view.
But we do have a matter of a Tottenham update to get through. We're going to start off with a behind closed doors friendly that took place yesterday. Spurs, predominantly the younger players, did take part in a behind the closed doors friendly against the Japan youth team, I believe. They did win 5-2. Mikey Moore getting on the score sheet once again, bagging 2 goals. Will Lancashire getting himself another 2 goals, as well as Alejo Veliz getting on the score sheet. So I make that, what is that? 5 goal contributions in 4 games for Mikey Moore so far this pre-season.
Yeah, he's on absolute fire, isn't he? And I think in all competitions, I think he's like got a goal contribution like something like 13 or something consecutive games.
Yeah.
He's taken
I think it's
England,
more, yeah.
England youth level,
Yeah.
Tottenham youth level, like all these. He's on fire, absolute fire. And at the moment, every game that comes his way, he's making the most of it. So unbelievable from him. Will Lancashire, he got 2 goals, didn't he? He's obviously continuing his fine form. He's had a really great pre-season. Really excited to see what he does. And it's really good for Veliz to get on the score sheet and get his confidence up, because he's the only striker who hasn't scored so far in this pre-season. So good for him to get a goal.
Yeah, we've got the open training session a bit later on today, so it'll be really interesting to see how they're training, how they maybe we'll get some more insight how they will line up against Vissel Kobe on Saturday. But let's get into a bit of transfer news, as Tom Barkley says that Tottenham are believed to be amongst the clubs interested in Ivan Toney. However, an injury to his replacement in waiting, Igor Thiago, could complicate the chances of England international moving away from Brentford this summer.
He's saying he is injured, or an injury could complicate it?
I think an injury, the words are an injury could complicate it.
So
maybe an anticipated injury. I don't know if he got injured or not.
I mean, that's a bit of a weird thing to say if he's not injured, I guess. But I would say it shouldn't make too much of a difference, because if you're Brentford, whether he gets injured or not, you would think they should sell Toney, because they're the kind of club that always does well with the money they've got to spend, and they spend it quite effectively, and they would back themselves to find a replacement. So I don't know, maybe they put the price up a bit, but I don't think their willingness to sell would be too different. I still think they'll be willing to sell, but let's hope there's no injury to his replacement anyway. But look, I've always said that I don't think this one gets done until later in the window, when Brentford get a bit more desperate and the price comes down. So I think we're going to be playing the waiting game with this one if we're still in for a striker later in the window.
Yeah, I actually think it's quite likely, this one, because you looking at Spurs, they have been in the market for a striker for a while. Well, if you believe the press. English, homegrown, good player. Yes, I've spoken about his attitude problems in the past. Paul O'Keefe is talking about 3 potential transfers, well 2 if you include the young South Korean that is coming through the door. I've got a feeling, I mean this is pure speculation and pure personal feeling, I got a feeling that one of these 3 players could be Ivan Toney.
Yeah, it could be anyone. We don't have any information, but it does make sense that we're just waiting on the selling club to give the green light if we've put the bid in. But I don't know, it could well be.
I don't see any other club above us going for him.
I agree. I think we'll be the top of the food chain, and the clubs who are interested in getting Toney, I reckon, this summer.
Let's talk about another striker who we've spoken about a lot in the past, is Santiago Gimenez, and who's this by? Fox Sport say that Tottenham remain interested in signing Santiago alongside AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Juventus and RB Leipzig. No club has made a concrete bid, though his representatives are due to travel to Europe in the next few days to hold talks with those interested in the Feyenoord striker. It's these rumours that just never go away with Santiago Gimenez.
I reckon there is genuine interest from Tottenham. I just don't think he's our first choice. I think there's too many factors that go against the deal. But I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't moved later in the window and we haven't found a striker that fits us, that we might still go for him. But I think at the moment, I think there is interest. This is, again, my personal feeling. I reckon there is a bit of interest. He's not our first choice. We've got a few options ahead of him. But if they don't work out, maybe we could fall on him.
Toney or Gimenez?
I think Toney.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, let's talk about the one that seems to be gathering quite a bit of pace at the moment, and that is Federico Chiesa. Sports media say that Federico Chiesa is close to completing a transfer to Tottenham in a deal worth 30 to 35 million euros. Italian journalist Gianni Balzarini says that Tottenham are interested in Chiesa and are prepared to pay 30 million euros to complete the signing. This would go beyond the 20 to 25 million euros that both Roma and Napoli are willing to pay. Juventus would accept such a proposal. Fabrizio Romano says that Federico Chiesa has not decided on his club despite rumours about his future. And Matthias Pog says that Tottenham are now confirmed as being interested in Chiesa and could offer close to 30 million euros for the forward. And he also says that Federico Chiesa has chosen the Premier League. First contacts with Juventus and Tottenham are underway.
Yeah, I mean, reading a lot of those reports, as much the one report that said he's set to sign for Tottenham doesn't seem that reliable. The only reliable reports so far are not suggesting he's close to Tottenham, so I wouldn't get excited about it just yet. But there does seem to be genuine interest, and I would say there's no smoke without fire in terms of Tottenham looking at him. Again, I reckon with Chiesa, I don't think it's our first choice. I think we're looking at the price tag, we're looking at the potential, and we're thinking that could be a good deal. Now, he is 26, does have a bad injury record, hasn't had the best of seasons last season. So I do think there's a lot, you could argue, is this the guy we should be signing right now? Is it the right deal?
The relevance of 26, you're saying that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's not a bad age, but there are younger
it's a great
players.
Age, isn't it? 26?
26 is okay. He's in his
coming
prime.
into his prime now.
That's the problem. He's 26 with a bad injury record. He's a bit younger, gives him time to go over
Say it's
it.
a bad injury record, but I mean, he played 33 games last season.
Correct, and in the last 3 seasons, Bentancur's played more than him. So,
He's probably played more than Neto in the past 3 seasons.
Probably. Neto's also had a bad injury record, but I believe Neto's a few years younger. He's also, in my opinion, obviously he's proven in the Premier League. I prefer to risk it on Neto than I would on Chiesa, even if it means paying a bit more money. That's my opinion. But I understand the value. I understand the potential quality of the player when he's at his best. We've seen how good he can be, not just Juventus, at Fiorentina as well. He was a really effective winger, good striker of the ball as well, on his left foot and his right foot. So I do like him. I don't believe that we're close to signing him. I don't believe that report.
I feel like this could have legs, It's one that stinks of maybe a bit of inclusion from Don Fabio Paratici with his links at Juventus. We know that he is in still a consulting role, if you're led to believe those reports still. But I feel like this one could have a bit of legs with the price that he's at, with the ability that he does have. I think, I've said it before, I think in an Ange Postecoglou system, he can flourish. And I feel like, since coming back from his ACL injury a couple of years back, he hasn't got to those heights that he once was. But I feel like he can get to those heights if he was in a much more attacking and fluid system. And I think that's what probably Spurs are looking at.
Yeah, and I can understand that thought process as well. And I think there's some validity and truth to that. So I think it could be a smart piece of business. But I would just be concerned if he was our only... Well, I guess he wouldn't be our only winger target because we brought in Werner, so he'd be our second one. But I don't know. I'm just not sure if it's enough.
I mean, if this transfer was happening a couple of years back, you'd be all over this, wouldn't you? Because the last 2 years haven't gone obviously as planned.
Not just that. Even if we hadn't signed Werner, I'd be all over it. But now we've got Werner. I'm like, we've probably got one more winger signing in us. Do we want to? Should it be Chiesa? I don't know.
I don't get the negative attitude towards Chiesa. I think he's a top quality player. I know he hasn't maybe shown his strengths over the last year or so because of the injury and because of the systems he's playing in. But I mean, I love him as a player. I absolutely adore him as a player. And I actually would be happy if he's our only winger signing from now to the end of the season.
I like him.
Transfer window.
I think that, if we can... So, look, I know Douillet hasn't moved yet. Neto's still around. I'll just prioritise them before Chiesa, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is a strange one from an Aston Villa ITK called Andy Clark, and he said Matty Cash talks moving at pace by the sounds of it. Emre very keen on Lo Celso. Tottenham need a right back. This solves both problems with minimal financial impact. First of all, Tottenham don't really need a right back with the emergence of Jed Spence, if Jed Spence is going to be sticking around. And second of all, keep Matty Cash away from my club after what he's done to Bentancur over the last season. So it's a no from me.
Doherty.
And just no.
Would he be the first player to be booed on his debut?
Oh, mate. This is just... If this is true, that just stinks all round.
I think if Jed Spence is staying, there's no point signing Cash. Obviously, if Spence isn't staying, then we probably do need another right back. And we could do worse than Matt Cash. I do think he's a good player. But I don't know. It just seems like the wrong fit. I feel like he would never win us over. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, look, I know fans can be fickle, one good performance, and all is forgiven. So I wouldn't be surprised. But
imagine that first day of training. You know, we had the Romero and Richarlison one, didn't we? When they first walked in. But this one will be even more intense with Bentancur and Matty Cash.
Would it? I don't know. You got to remember
with the Romero stare as well to Matty Cash.
Romero and Richarlison were not just rivals on the pitch with Spurs and Everton, but also Brazil and Argentina. There's that rivalry there. If they can bury the hatchet, I'm sure Matty Cash and Bentancur can.
I prefer them not to bury the hatchet. Let's go. Matty Cash to Tottenham is an absolute 100% no-go for me. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We brought you the news about Min-hyuk, that he's all but set to sign for Tottenham and set to be have an announcement over the Korea tour, potentially to play against Tottenham as well in the K-League All-Stars. Fabrizio Romano gave us the here we go yesterday. Min-hyuk to Tottenham, here we go. Deal completed for 2006-born winger from Gangwon FC. First part of medical tests already booked, and then he will sign a long-term deal at Tottenham as reported yesterday. He's expected to join Spurs from January 2025. It's believed the first part of his medical will take place in Korea.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously, we heard that this deal was pretty much done. Now hearing those three magical words, we can rest easy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the K-League All-Stars game.
Yeah, let's hope he does play. Get to see him first-hand out in Korea. And last but not least, Damasio says that Tottenham and AC Milan are getting closer and closer to reach an agreement for Emerson Royale. However, the move is not done yet. It just seems to be slowly edging a bit closer and closer every day.
I think it's going to
Still
happen.
not done yet, though.
Yeah, it's still not done. Like, look, it's not done until there's an agreement, and these things take time, especially when Spurs are involved. So I don't doubt that Tottenham are going through every single penny and making sure it's all accounted for, but I'm pretty sure this one will get done.
Well, there you have it. That is your Tottenham update, over and out from the beautiful Tokyo City view here in Japan. We'll be at the open training later. So we'll be delivering all the footage from you, seeing how Spurs do get through their open training session out in the National Stadium in Tokyo. And then tomorrow is match day, isn't it? We get to see the Spurs for the first time since being out here. It's been a great trip so far, but it's about to get even better when we see the first team in action. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.